Hello again, and welcome back to our lovely part two of untangling, pretty much like a computer algorithm, relationships, and I mean romantic relationships. And this is well and truly um, a dry mathematical approach, but give it a thought because it actually makes sense if you have the space and um, I guess setting in your own head to actually I wouldn't call it analyzing, but to really put it on paper, pros and cons, black or white, where you're at. So as much as you can perhaps are still very much attracted. So we're talking about attraction, affection, and kindness, the genuine goodness in people that we're not going to go into the abnormal side of relationships, but we assume that everyone comes into a relationship with the best, with their heart open, with their best intent to help and to be nice and not to hurt the other party. So we've got the kindness, we've got the affection element, and we've got the attractiveness. And on either side of them, we've got each one of us, those two people in that relationship. So let's just hope, for the sake of argument, that we're still attracted to each other. We're not going to debate that, because the moment that fails, the moment there's no longer sexual attraction, the affectionate side of things becomes it's no longer even the catalyst. It becomes the only engine that keeps that relationship going. So we're not going to talk about this scenario. We're just going to assume that we're still in love. We're still having that attraction to our other half, that we're sexually compatible, and not just compatible, we're attracted to each other. Yeah. So the next bit, we're gonna dive a little bit more into the affective side. So when it comes to affection and emotional aspects, if you'd like, we're pretty much talking about each and every one of us wanting and having and wanting to fulfill certain needs and certain pleasures of our own, things that make us deeply based happy in our core, in our basics. And when I say basics, I literally mean just that: right, wrong, good, bad, our beliefs and our values, our dreams. Yes. So the moment we, and again, if you recall, if you've watched the other video, we always rate, we always scale, like the Google reviews. I put in this much, and this is what I want, and this is how I'd like my need to be met, and that's how I get pleasure out of life, really. And in a relationship, we always have to tally in the other one's dreams and hopes, and good, bad, wrong, right, and how they need their own pleasures met. And we're not talking the sexual ones, because those we already covered. They're there, they're good. We're all okay on that front. So we're talking about the emotional and affectionate side, and what makes us have a meaning or purpose, because this is why we get together. We get together to share things, to have a connection. We don't get together to well, hopefully we don't get together to share the bills, because that's sad. But we do want to get together so we can feel wanted, safe, desired, and accepted. wanted. It's the proximity and everything else. um, Safe, desired, and accepted. It's the basics of what we want in this kind of in a romantic kind of relationship. So what we end up actually sharing is a set of a set of preconceived ideas. And like we spoke about a couple of videos back, the beauty of human nature is that we actually keep becoming and keep changing. So nothing is written in stone. When two different people meet, guess what? We actually have the power to adapt and to ply and to intertwine and to make things work. We do have that. And when we're talking about emotional aspects, the most important ones are availability and compatibility. So emotionally, you're getting involved with a person, you have to ask yourself, you have to find out, not so much ask yourself, but you have to ask them really two things. Well, are they emotionally available? And the answer would be yes or no. And what does that mean? What does that mean if they're emotionally available? Well, where does their loyalty sits? Where, in terms of loyalty and allegiance and dedication, if you like, are they available? Because the answer could be no. They're not emotionally available. They're not emotionally available to you because they're married or involved with another person that has the status of significant other, or they're not available to you because they're involved with themselves. They're committed to themselves for whatever reason in their own mind. They're happy with the sexuality side of things, but emotionally they're not necessarily available for your kind of, well, at that point in time it's considered interference. You're interfering and they're not willing to share that little bit, and you've got walls and boundaries. Yeah. And that's again, as simple as it sounds, it's either a yes or a no. But then again, it's perhaps a conversation you have at the very beginning, and you know that they are emotionally available. You share what it is that your dream is, your beliefs and your values, and you are on the same page, and you're both available emotionally, and you're both looking forward to see how you can connect. And this is what relationship is. You start interacting and you spend time together, and you have situations of various kinds, and you observe how the other one reacts, and to things that you say, to things that they say, to things that other people say, and you start again interpreting. So our own filter is it's a bit of a doozy. It's like a firewall. um, but a firewall with some kind of superpowers. You know why? Because it doesn't just interpret. The brain has this magical bit where it assigns value and valence and scores particular aspects or elements, and sometimes in the name of optimism, we have that ability of tricking ourselves, and we want to believe the beautiful side of things, and we say, oh no, it's just for this one time. Actually, I'm so sure that they're good. I'm sure it's just, I mean, they told me so many times that they're just, going through a rough patch. Just, I'm gonna be nice and I'm gonna be kind. Yeah, because you are. We all get in with the hopefully with the premise that we're not going to hurt other people, that we're there, um, and having the best interest at heart for us and for themselves. So it's a bit difficult when it comes to okay, we decided that we're attracted and we're into a relationship with someone that is definitely emotionally available. Now, when it comes to compatibility, compatibility is a tricky one. This one, I tell you, it's coming to terms with. Um, I guess sometimes people call them values and beliefs, but I'm a bit more deeper than that, because you know what? In the end of the day, it doesn't. Certain beliefs or values, certain, I guess, materialistic ones, are no longer something that makes or breaks a relationship. For example, someone once told me that usually if you in this kind of relationship, if you do not have a similar level of intelligence coupled with a similar level of um, financial solvency, if you like. So you need people to think alike and you need people to earn alike. The moment you have an imbalance in that, there will be problems. Mind you, yes, that's pretty much even the more simplistic bit, because a same level of intelligence and a balanced financial relevance to the two people in the relationship would basically eliminate the cause of 90% why arguments start, right? So there you go, problem solved. Take that tip, moving on. But for the sake of what this is part two of our attraction, affection, and kindness in a relationship, and how we interpret and piece those together, and how we gather that information, and how we share that information with each other. In the sense of availability and compatibility within emotional aspects of the whole affection bit, truth of the matter is, when it comes to compatibility, the way one would sum it up is about being compatible with each other on the things that matter to us as an individual. So if I got things that matter for me um, in greatly, that are like my high limit, like I will not, and most of the times, believe it or not, both women and men, we know very well what we don't want. Yeah, we know very well what matters. Let's take an easy one. So cheating. Yeah, so if you're in a relationship where the other party cheats, that is an incompatibility. The relationship will, for someone like me, the relationship will not go on. Couldn't care less of how, why, all of those lovely things, or enlightenment, or open-minded, but what matters is that cheating feels like betrayal. So betrayal in itself, or lack of trust, or losing respect of someone. Um, Again, going back to those right, wrong, good, bad, those are things that are basics. And if we are not compatible on that level, chances are it will crumble. Doesn't matter how it honestly, the algorithm will say this, without this, go back to loop two, go back to your emotional. You've got no compatibility, go back and find another sexual attractor. If you don't want to find another one, then go back and change your emotions. If you don't want to change your emotions, you're stuck again on availability. Are you still available? Can you make yourself available for this person, considering your compatibility sucks? And the brain will go into this whole loops of, what am I going to do? What's going on? So basically it comes down to the bottom line as to what is it that what do we do? Do we accept it or not? And all of this rationale was just ours. Okay, we forgot to take into it, or we haven't forgotten, we just haven't found out yet the rationale of the other. So this is why they say communication in a relationship, or a relationship without communicating, it's bound to hit the wall, like a freight train, mind you. So sharing these things, sharing feelings, emotions, and why this matters for me, and please tell me why it matters for you, so we can find a way to resonate. So all of those questions with I don't know if you did this or not when you were kids, but we used to pick flowers and we used to go, he loves me, he loves me not, he loves me, he loves me not, he loves me, he loves me not. Oh, well, there's a science to it, and figure out if he loves you or he loves you not, you love him or you love him not, or you can actually work on it. So the question is not so much he loves me not. Mind you, the question is not even I'm so the princess stories and the prince charming and all of that. I think it's all so misunderstood, because all there is in those stories is just they were attracted to each other. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there's more to the story. So living happily ever after had to go through emotions, availability, compatibility, kindness, helping each other, being there, sharing, talking. I'm sure Prince Charming didn't go to the tavern after arriving at the castle and said, "See you, sweetie. I'm just gonna have a beer with the dudes. I know I haven't seen you in about a week, but hey, I'll see you when I get back." So I'm sure that's not how things pan out in the Disney stories. My point is, there is beauty in those stories, but it's only the beginning. And there's nothing wrong with wanting Prince Charming. There's nothing wrong with wanting your princess. It's okay. It's more than okay. It's amazing if after that attraction and the kindness that comes into these stories, on the emotional side, on the affectionate field, both of you actually can resonate and can connect. So if you ever get asked something like, do you think this is going to work? Well, my answer is yes, it can work. Are you both willing to make it work? Or no, it cannot work, because there are certain limits that cannot be crossed. It's as easy as that. And in the values of it all, and the meaning that we give to our relationships, and what we give from us and from our soul, and what we put in and what the other person puts in, the other party, then we have to accept that it's very possible they're just having their own scale and their own meaning and their own things that matter to them. So finding someone that you actually resonate with, it's so goddamn rare. And if you found them, there's no guarantee that it will last forever or happily ever after, but just make the best of the time you actually share together. And this is me for now, and hope I haven't bored you too much, and I'll talk to you again next time. And I think we're gonna take this lovely algorithm a little bit further into the field of relationships, and we're going to talk about how to show affection, how to, because we're all different, but I'll tell you about it in the next video. Thank you so much. I'm Gabriella, and I hope you enjoyed this little trip into an imaginary software of an algorithm of a brain that looks similar to mine. Good night.